Do you really want to come to Portugal? Are you thinking whether to come to Portugal? And should you even come to Portugal? Stay tuned and watch this video. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time in my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy this video. So let's get to it. First off, quick disclaimer, this is just my opinion about living in Portugal. I've been in Portugal for a year and a couple of months, and I think I've gathered enough information to be able to talk about it. So let's talk about it. Okay, so the first thing I would love to say is that the natural beauty of Portugal. Portugal is actually a really beautiful country, very vintage in some areas, very historical, which I absolutely love because there is so much to learn. There is so much to learn in everything that you see, and the views. Oh, about the views. Everywhere you are, even if you're not in the city center or the most expensive place, the views are beautiful and it's just great. So I love me the views. The next point I would like to talk about is the weather. So I believe in among all the countries in Europe, Portugal is the best one in terms of the weather, which is why during the summer everyone is in Portugal, especially people from countries around Europe, because it's warm. Like it can even get up to like 30 degrees, which is basically the hot weather in Ghana, Angola, Nigeria. So it's great. During the summer the weather is great. It can actually get really hot, so that's a plus. And also during the winter, the lowest I have seen Portugal being is like 6 degrees, so not really cold. So that has been a really good thing, because like we're able to manage ourselves better. Like, the next point I would love to talk about is the people, and also that goes with language. In Portugal we speak Portuguese. In Portugal falamos português. Just you know that I speak some Portuguese. But anyways, yes, so and people might see Portugal as being, or sorry, people might see Portuguese as being a language barrier, especially if you don't speak Portuguese or you don't come from a Portuguese speaking country. But I will let you know that if you're willing or if you're planning to move to Portugal, it's not really an issue, because about 50% of the population in Portugal speaks English, you know, so you'll be able to move yourself around. And maybe you would want to learn some Portuguese just because of the social life in general, but I believe that you can get an English speaking job. Like there's so many international corporations that are moving to Portugal because of lower costs, and you would work in English. So speaking Portuguese necessarily, it's not a barrier in any way, shape or form. So far I've just been speaking about the good things in Portugal, or the things that I personally feel like are good points in Portugal. I think additionally to that, I would add the food. The food is good, not as much as I heard not as good as I heard it was going to be when I was planning to come to Portugal, but it's good. I'm going to give it to them. It's good. I love me some bacalhau à brás, bacalhau com natas. So the food is good. The food is quite good. On to the next. Let's move on to the bad. So let's start with the salaries. Portugal is one of the poorest countries in Europe, so the salaries are not that great. For the minimum wage is 705 euros, if I'm not mistaken, and that's just average, you know. Even though the salaries are not all that good, the standard of living in terms of the expenses you make, you are kind of able to manage, because food stuff are not that expensive here in Portugal. Like food stuff and even clothing are not that expensive. You can be able to manage everything within the minimum wage you receive. If you're lucky enough to have a good job, to work for example in an international company, you earn a bit more above the minimum wage, which it's okay. And I put this as a bad point because if you're in France or other European countries doing the same job you do here in Portugal, you earn more. So it's kind of a bad point that you don't earn enough here in Portugal. On to the next. Also, if you're a young person trying to start your life, trying to build your finances and just starting your life in general, maybe Portugal is not the place for you, because here when you come, you hustle. When I say you hustle because even to find the jobs is not as easy, especially for someone who is an immigrant, you know, Portuguese, and you don't study here, for example, or like you don't come to Portugal, do your course, you come to just work, you're not going to get the job that meets your standard, you know, in the beginning, until you gain some years of experience or you decide to do a course to kind of boost that chances of you getting a good job here in Portugal. So it's a bad point in terms of the salaries are not good enough, even though you'll be able to survive, but it's a hustle. Also, something that I quite don't like, and I think is this straight? Great. Something I don't like, I think it's a bad point, is that of course your salaries, even though it's minimum wage you earn, will be taxed, and your liquid and in terms of what you take home would definitely be reduced. And also they give you opportunities to work on holidays and work extra hours, but the thing is those extra hours are also taxed anyway. So it kind of doesn't really motivate you to work extra hours, because there is not going to be much changes in your bank account at the end of the month. And also, yep, you receive your salary at the end of the month. Yeah. And I know it's like that in some countries as well, so it's not really like just a Portugal thing, but just because the salaries in Portugal are low anyway and you have to wait till the end of the month to receive them, that is quite not encouraging. On to the next point. Also, something I quite don't like about Portugal that I think is a bad thing, everything is a subscription. If you're planning to come to Portugal, don't make a mistake of subscribing to a service or a program and giving your bank details, because they don't give you all the information you need to have. Whatever the service is, medical services, need to have is, you want to make sure you know exactly what it is you're signing up for, because when you don't want it anymore and you want to cancel the subscription because every month money comes out of your account for a service that you didn't even really understand and you're really not using, they would not allow you to cancel, because they'll tell you that you signed for this, or you can only cancel like next year. Is that bad? It's that bad. So you want to make sure you know what it is you're signing up for when signing up for subscriptions in Portugal, because they don't tell you what you need to know. Yeah. To add to that point, the salary is already not good, but everyone wants your money. Everyone wants the small money that is in your account. So this subscription here, there is this discount here. Glovo is always sending you messages like, we have whatever discount, we have whatever discount, we have whatever discount. You want to make sure you know what it is or where you're putting your bank details, because you'll be surprised as to how money can just be coming out of your account without you even knowing what it's for. Now let's get to the real thing, the ugly of living in Lisbon. Don't get me wrong, Portugal is a beautiful country, but because it's old, we have a lot of old buildings, almost rotten buildings. Yeah, that is not really nice to see. It's not really pleasing to see. But that's only in some areas. In the city center, like Cidade Universitária, Campo Grande, those are like the beautiful places in Lisbon. But if you go to like Queluz, Amadora, Reboleira, you see old buildings, you see dog poop. I don't want to say the other word. You see dog poop everywhere on the road. And you start to ask yourself, is this really dog poop? Because some of them don't even look like dog poop. They look like something else. Poop coming out of a human being even. So like that's definitely an ugly thing and disgusting. Yeah, so whenever you're in these areas like Queluz, Amadora, Reboleira, even Cacilhas, you have to make sure that you're looking on the floor or you just step on poop, whether it being dog poop or human being poop. Also, another point, the roads are way too small. The roads in Portugal are way too small, and cars still park on those roads because majority of people live in buildings, like in story buildings, yeah. And so there's no underground parking, there's no parking space, so people park on the streets, people park on the road. The streets that are already small, so yeah, in terms of like cars passing through, it can get a bit complicated just because of how small the cities are. Another ugly point I came to realize, it was honestly a shock for me, especially coming from an African country. It was a shock for me. It's the amount of homeless people there are. And these homeless people are not like crazy people, they're like normal people, but they're just homeless, like staying in metro stations, begging for money. It's a bit strange for me because as an African girl, like I know that we still take in our families, you know, and we still take them in. For example, if they lost their job, if they're not able to keep a house, we take them in, you know, and until they and help them get up. But here I don't think that's how they work. If you're not able to pay your rent, like you literally go on the streets. Your family will not even let you stay with them unless you're paying some type of bill in the house. It was very shocking, but yeah, here this is just how they do their things, and everything is about money. But this is not even just a Portugal thing. Even as a human being, as an adult, I'm starting to realize that everything is about money. It is tough. I really hope I pointed out the important points. I really hope I pointed out the important points because I gotta run. I have to go to work. But yes, like these are like the good, the bad, and the ugly things I have seen here in Portugal. And if you're thinking about coming to Portugal, so here is the part where I answer your question. If you're thinking of coming to Portugal, it depends on what you actually want and in what stage of your life you are. If you're a young person and you want to come and hustle and make money and all of that, I wouldn't advise Portugal because the salary is already low enough. And if you if you don't study here in Portugal, or like you don't have like a lot of previous years of experience, it's very hard for you to get a good job. And also rent, paying rent. I guess that's not just a Portugal problem, it's an everywhere problem. Rent is very expensive as well, so you, even if you have a good job, paying half of that money into rent paying half of the money into rent, it's not, it's just not, it's just not it, it's just not it, it's just not pleasing, it's just not, it doesn't make you happy. But if you want to come, still come, because I'm a young person and I'm here, I'm hustling. So if you want to come, you can still come. If you're an older person, you have worked your whole life and now you have your money and you just want to retire, please come to Portugal. Portugal is the place for you because it is beautiful, regardless of all the things I just said. It is beautiful. We have so many tourist sites almost everywhere. You can just come and buy a house, and not only just Lisbon, like there's Algarve, there's Cascais, there's Estoril, there is Porto. These are cities where, especially Cascais and Estoril, those, if you have your money, you want to go there, because like it just seems it's the place where there are the casinos and all of that. If you have your money, you would enjoy living in that part of Portugal. But all in all, nowhere is perfect, and if you really want to come to Portugal and you've made your research and you've watched videos like these, surely come, because like because everyone doesn't have the same story. You know, your story might be better than someone else's, or worse, but let's hope for better. But yeah, so all in all, Portugal is still a good country. It's still nice, and if you make your money remotely, or you make, exactly, like you make your money from YouTube or like from social media, come to Portugal, because you live a good life. You'll be able to rent your nice apartment in the downtown. You'll be able to, you know, just enjoy. And also, as a Portuguese resident, you can travel around Europe easily, and it's not expensive to go to France, to go to Spain. You can even go by road to some of these countries. So Portugal is really good in that sense. So, but anyways guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. This is the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe as always. Let's grow our little family. And yeah guys, I gotta run, I gotta go to work. Bye.